Powder.
Sure. Okay. So root crops. What is the purpose of root crops in a forest? What function do they fulfill? So they're like batteries.
Like what? Like sweet potatoes, yucca? You're talking about the...
yucca. So
cassava.
early on, the first stage of a forest is grasses.
Okay.
Right? And then we have shrubs, we have all of that. But look, come over here. This yucca right here thrives in very infertile conditions. It's also here, right now in fertile soil, but it could thrive in very early succession conditions. It produces a big tuber that is charged with nutrients, but it also falls over easily. So look over here. Can you see that right there? That's a yucca that's laying down. It was knocked over by the wind, right? And so what nature does is it sends up these root crops like yucca to cover the soil quickly, charge all these complex carbohydrates in there, and then it gets knocked over easily. And what happens when it gets knocked over? Sunlight comes in, and then the other trees that are next in succession, think of it like it's generations, and they're building on each other. Each is fulfilling a role. Now they have a chance to go up. This dies, but the roots are still in the ground. So by pruning the yucca, it releases a liquid fertilizer. It's growth hormones that it was stored up. It was not meant to be taken out of the ground. When we take it out of the ground, so I plant yucca not to eat the yucca. I plant yucca next to my fruit trees to shelter the fruit trees when they're little. It produces a canopy over them. They don't like to be fried in the sun. They also like company. Plants want community just like we want. So when we plant them in isolation, we get sick plants, right? And so we need to plant dense, diverse, and dynamic. The dynamic component is the most unappreciated and like the missing link, the biggest missing link, because that pruning element is important. You plant the yucca, but not for it to be there always.
Okay, so we should not be eating root plants, right? Like root vegetables.
We can
Potatoes
as like a,
and
you know,
things.
for survival. You know,
but because it's full of toxins.
well,
Like,
I guess
when
you cook it, yes, there is toxins like we know about when you cook foods, but that you could, the potential of that root is for it to fertilize the soil when you prune it and you leave the roots in the ground.
So that's why it should stay in the ground.
That's why it should stay in the ground. This is the role of the root crops.
I mean, it's like eating sprouts.
Like the potato.
They're batteries, yeah. Like when it's a barren field and there's no trees yet, they grow really quickly. The potatoes crawl. They have their different growth habits, right? But taking into example, yucca is wonderful. Look, I just broke one right now.
Wow,
That's
wow.
fine. It doesn't matter. It doesn't care. It still has roots. It's gonna keep growing.
Yeah.
And this is mulch right here. But if this was a whole field of yucca, and then there was these seedlings growing under it, it would be a nursery. They would be protected by the sun. But it gets to a certain point where the seedlings now want to take the stage. And the yucca is very brittle. You saw how easy it was for me to break it? It just breaks over. A windstorm comes, breaks over the yucca, but the roots stay in the ground. And what happens, nature doesn't waste anything. So what is not being used by this plant, it was like, okay, I was using 10 units of energy, but now I have half of me gone. So what is it gonna do? It's gonna give whatever it has in excess to this banana right here. And that's producing that. So this is why we plant everything close together and prune the things, but we leave whatever we want to fruit. So that all the energy in the macroorganism, none of these plants are individuals. You cannot think of a plant as an individual. They have no individualized ego. So
when you dig up the tubers, it kind of messes with the ecosystem.
Now you took that out of the ground. It was a whole battery. Think of it, it's a battery. It spent so much time making this giant tuber so that tuber can stay there and feed the next generation. But you take it out of the ground and now you have to stay in that level. You can never get to the other level of soil fertility.
Wow.
So this is...
soil fertility.
Yeah.
Never heard that. Okay, thank you so much,
soil.
Gabriel. Wow, wow, wow.